Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 45b, part 2, with the word Rotseach. The Gemara explains the halacha that capital punishment need not necessarily be imposed in accordance with the Torah's specific instructions is taught with regard to two cases, that of the murderer and that of the blood redeemer. That case of Rotseach Adam ran gol Adam mahi detani gol Hadam yamis Rotseach mitzvah begol Hadam וביניים שאם אין לו גואל שבייס דין מעמידין לו גואל שנאמר ופיגעו בו מכל מקום. The case of a murderer in this halacha is this halacha that we said. With regard to the case of a blood redeemer, what is it? As it is taught in a bride, the verse states, the blood redeemer shall slay the murderer when he meets him. Numbers 35:21. The mitzvah of redeeming the death caused by an unintentional killer falls on the blood redeemer, a relative of the victim. And from where is it derived that if the victim has no blood redeemer, the court appoints a blood redeemer for him, as it is stated, when he meets him, which teaches that in any case he shall not slay the murderer, whether he is a relative or a court-appointed blood redeemer. Okay. Amar le mar kashisha bered Rav Chizda dravashi umi lo ba'in en krad kedichtiv v'tanya ha'echad min mehen gidem o ilem o chiger o suma o cheresh o na'aseh ben sore o more. Mar Kashisha, son of Rav Chizda, said to Rav Ashi, and do we not need to fulfill what is stated in the verse exactly as it is written? But didn't we learn a mission in Sanhedrin 71a with regard to a stubborn and rebellious son? If one of the boy's parents is without a hand, or is mute, or lame, or blind, or deaf, the boy is not rendered a stubborn and rebellious son. Shene'emar v'tafsu bo v'lo gidmin v'yotziu oto v'lo chigarin v'amru v'lo ilamin v'neinu zeh v'lo sumin eino shomea b'koleinu v'ein v'lo chorshin. The halacha is arrived as it is stated. Then shall his father and his mother lay hold of him and bring him out to the elders of his city and to the gate of his place. Deuteronomy 21:19. This serves to teach his father and mother lay hold of him, but not those without a hand who cannot grab him and bring him out, but not those who are lame and cannot take him out. As it is stated, and they shall say to the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He does not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Deuteronomy 21:20. This verse serves to teach that they shall say, but not mute people, this is our son, but not the blind, who can point out to the boy, he does not obey your voice. He does not obey your voice, but not the deaf. My time out loud mishum deba'inan kra kedichtiv lo shani hasum dechule kra yeterahu. What is the reason that in all these cases the boy is not rendered a stubborn and rebellious son? Is it not because we need to fulfill what is stated in the verse exactly as is written? And this principle should hold true with regard to other verses as well. The Gemara rejects this explanation. No, There, in the case of the stubborn and rebellious son, it is different, as the entire verse is superfluous. Therefore, all of the conditions inferred from the verse must be precisely met, or else the boy cannot be rendered a stubborn and rebellious son. One cannot apply this principle to other verses. Tashima ein la rechov ein nasis ir hanidachas. Divrei Rabbi Yishmael, Rekiva Omer, Ein La Rechov, Osin La Rechov. The Gemara suggests, come in here a proof from what is taught in a Braita with regard to an idolatrous city in Ir Nidachas. The majority of whose inhabitants engage in idol worship, about which the verse says, and you shall gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the open place of the city, and shall burn with fire both the city and the entire plunder taken. In Deuteronomy 13:17, if the city does not have an open place, it is not rendered an idolatrous city. This is the statement of Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Kiva says, if it does not have an open place, then we make an open place for it. Okay? Ad kan lo pligi ela demar savar rechova meikara be'inan. Umar savar rechova dehashta nami ke demeikara dami avul kule alma be'inan kra kedichtiv. The Gemara explains, Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Kiva disagree only with regard to this detail. That one sage, Rabbi Yishmael, holds that we need an open place that existed from the outset when the idolatry was committed, while the other sage, Rabbi Kiva, holds that an open place that exists now is like an open place that existed from the outset. But everyone agrees that we need to fulfill what is stated in the verse exactly as it is written. Tanai, the Gemara answers, this issue is the subject of a dispute between Tanaim. The Tanan, Ilo Bahen, Ein Lo Bohan Yad, Bohan Regel, Oznaim Yamanis, Ein Lo Tehara Olamis, Rabbi Eliezer, Omer, Mosein al Vyose, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Nosein al Smolo Vyose. The Gemara answers. The issue is the subject of a dispute between Tanim, as we learned in the Mishnah, in the Gaim 14:9, concerning the purification process of a leper, during the course of which the blood and oil must be applied to his right thumb, right big toe, and right ear. If the leper has no right thumb, right big toe, or right ear, he can never attain ritual purity, as he cannot fulfill the conditions of the verse. Rabbi Eliezer says, in such a case, the priest may apply the blood and oil to the place where the missing finger, toe, or ear should have been, and the leper has thereby fulfilled his obligation. Rabbi Shimon says the priest may apply it to his left thumb, to his big toe, or left ear, and the leper has thereby fulfilled his obligation. The first Tana apparently holds that the Torah's instructions must be fulfilled exactly as they're written, while Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Shimon disagree and say that when this is impossible, they are dispensable. New Mishnah. Mishnah says, Kol Niskal Not Nitalin. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Chacham Omrim Einu Nitle Ela Amigadef Ve'oved Avodazar. The Mishnah states, corpses of all those who were stoned or hung after their death. This is the statement of Rabbi Eliezer, and the rabbis say only the corpse of the blasphemer, one who has cursed God, and the corpse of the idol worshiper are hung. The ish tolin also panav klapi ha'am, ve'isha paneha klapi ha'etz. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer b'chacham omrim ve'esh nitla ve'ein isha nitlas. Amar lahen Rabbi Eliezer v'halo Shimon ben Shetach tala nashim ba'ashkelon. Amru lo shmoni nafshim tala ve'ein danin shnayim biyom echad. The corpse of man is hung facing the people, but the corpse of a woman out of modesty is hung with facing the tree. This is the statement of Rabbi Eliezer, and the rabbis say the corpse of a man is hung, but the corpse of a woman is not hung. Rabbi Eliezer said to the rabbis, "Did Shimon ben Shetach not hang in Ashkelon women who were found guilty of witchcraft, proving that the corpse of a woman who is executed is also hung?" They said to him, "No proof can be brought from here, as he hanged 80 women on that day, and the halacha is the same. Court may not judge even two people charged with the same capital transgressions on the same day. It is therefore clear that he was not acting in accordance with Torah law, but rather it was therefore clear that he was not acting as opposed to Torah law, but rather his execution of the 80 women was an extraordinary punishment necessitated by unusually pressing circumstances. Okay? Gemara. Tan Rabbanan v'humas betalis yachol kol ha-mumasin italin taman lomar ki kalta Elohim tabui ma bekalel zeh shebeskila af kol shaskila af kol shebeskila divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Those were the words of Rabbi Eliezer. Yeah. The statement of Rabbi Eliezer. Ma mekal zeh shekafar beikar af kol shekafar beikar. The Braita continues, and the rabbis say, just as the blasphemer who denies the principle of belief in God is hung after his death, so too all who deny the principle of belief in God are hung after they die. But others, even if they are liable to be punished by stoning, are not hung after they are put to death. But my kamifligi Rabbanan darshi klali uprati, Rabbi Eliezer darish ribui umeute. The Gemara clarifies with regard to what they disagree. The rabbis interpret the verses based on the principle of generalizations and details, one of the methods by which the Torah is interpreted, and Rabbi Eliezer interprets them based on the principle of amplifications and restrictions in a different approach to biblical exegesis. Rabbanan darshi klali uprati v'humas v'talisa. Klal ki kilalt is prat. How so? The rabbis expound the verses based on the principle of generalizations and details. The phrase "and he is put to death" and "you shall hang him" is a generalization, as no particular offense is specified. The phrase "for he that is hung is a curse of God" is a detail, as a specific transgression is mentioned. Were the generalization and the detail next to each other in the same verse, we would apply the principle of generalizations and details and say that the generalization includes only that which is stated in the detail. Therefore, this transgression, the blasphemer, yes, his corpse is subject to being hung after he is executed, but the corpse of anyone else is not. Okay? And basically what they were saying was Ihavu Makravila Dadi Amrinan Ein Bichlal Ella Mashipahani in Midi Achrini Lo. And that is the Daf.